Hey fam, hope you're doing well. Kelly here. Just so excited to share with you kind of some things. Some things about spiritual bypassing, some things about what not to ignore in your life. And one of the things I want to encourage you not to avoid in your life is your feelings, how you're feeling about your life, how you're feeling about yourself. And so often, there was this like huge positivity movement, 10, 20 years ago. And sometimes we get so caught up in being positive that we actually ignore the pull in our heart, our intuition, the things that really tell us how we're truly doing. Because for years and years and years, I was at this place where I felt really good. I felt really energized. I was taking incredible care of myself, like physically, nutritionally, and just really doing great. But there were still places in my consciousness where I was still numb to my feelings. And so because I was numb to my feelings, that's when the universe brings in things to kind of show you where you're at consciously. And so keep in mind that everything that you're attracting into your life, from the great friends that you have, from the great family that you have, from, maybe great colleagues and great job positions, those are absolutely, the positive things about yourself that you're able to attract. But what we're really focused here is really diving in and looking at, okay, where are those things in our life that could be better, right? Like, if you had a roommate and they were super harsh with you, like, where are you being harsh with yourself? Because this is, I really believe the world is all about, this mirroring effect. And we don't necessarily attract what we want, we attract what we are. So if you've got a lot of conflict, you've got a lot of drama within your own life, then it's about healing that drama, that internal conflict within ourselves. And we can do that on a personal level. We can do that on a national and a global level as well. I really believe that this entire pandemic is, at least in the US, our health is really declining. And I feel like this pandemic is really bringing up, people's fear about cancer and getting sick and death, right? And so naturally we have this pandemic to bring this to our awareness. And surprisingly, I still see people super resistant to wanting to build their immune systems. Okay, so for instance, I just got over being sick with the coronavirus, and I was not one of those lucky people without symptoms. I actually had a really hard time, and then but once it kind of ran its course, I had about 3 days after I felt normal. That got my energy back, and I still had a little bit in my chest to get out, but I bounced right back to almost the same energy levels that I had previously, and I really attribute that to learning and developing my personal gut health and immune system over the last 10 years, because I used to be the in college, twice a year, I would get a sinus infection so bad that I'd need antibiotics. And that was, I haven't been on any kind of antibiotics or medication or anything in, probably 15 years. So that's huge. Okay, anyway, but the point is we don't want to be so positive about our life that we ignore our feelings, because that's numbing out. Like, you can go and spend money and go shopping. You can, you can throw yourself in your art. And again, I encourage you to throw yourself in your art and be creative, and follow your passion, right? But it's about not ignoring the feelings of lack in certain areas of our life. For instance, if you have a hard time showing up on Zoom, and you got to turn off your camera, well, then there's some things to look at that you're really having a hard time looking at yourself. So it's not a place that you want to like numb out to and be like, oh, it's okay, I'll just turn my camera off. that's okay temporarily, right? Or if you're smoking, again, it's a temporary thing. Like I struggled with that as well. And I really did the mirror. I was like, where is this supporting me in my life? And I was able to heal that and leave it behind me. But it wasn't until I was like, how is this supporting me? How is this actually helping me cope in the world? All right. And once I went into my heart to figure that out, I was able to clear that and get rid of it permanently. Okay. And yeah, what else? So this thing about numbing out. So like today I had some things coming up where I was like really feeling some heavy emotions. And I was like, initially I was like, oh gosh, this is bad. And then I was like, actually, this is giving me my next piece. So whether you're on your twin flame journey or not, right? But I was like, oh, this is good. I get to go in and do some inner work around this and feel my feelings and see what's coming up for me so that I can get through that next block. Because, my coaches are constantly reminding me, if you want something to happen in the world, you have to heal it first. And this goes, okay, so for instance, an example of that is, example of that is, I had this upset that, I was working with my coach yesterday, and I was just in absolute tears because for 10 years, I haven't been able to really manifest the life of my dreams. Even when I was in a marriage that there was a lot of money there, I still felt really poor because most of the money was my ex-husband's money, and he wouldn't share it. And and I bought all my food, and I still felt really, really poor in that marriage, even though there was like plenty of money. And so, at any rate, and then I've been a single mom for the last 5 years, like building my career and building my worth and my self-worth, and really learning. And the crux of what I'm learning now is about believing that the divine will help me actually get what I want out of life. Okay. And I really believe that's why, because if you don't believe that the divine will create a solid foundation for you, you're going to have a really hard time creating it. And so I was able to do that in September. I created a super strong, solid foundation for my ballet school. Okay, but then I ended up not believing that I could have it. And so I ended up getting coronavirus, which really hurt my income. It hurt my growth and my momentum. And so I'm going into this place now where I'm healing this place. I'm like, well, how come people, I play by all the rules. I do all the right things. I'm super integral, right? Whereas there's a lot of people in the world who, my upset was like, okay, well, what about the people who are cheating, who are doing, not such integral things, but they're able to manifest money. Now they still have their suffering, right? It's not, just because they have money, they're happy or anything. But, and I still know that, but still I'm like, well, what about for someone like me who is a go-getter? I do all the things, right? Just super good person from what people see to what they don't, right? So super, super upset. Like, why don't I get my good, right? But part of it is really, and my coach took me through a meditation, or just into my heart. Actually, she took me into my heart, and I had this vision of God, right, with like all of this money and all of this stuff, all of my good, right? And he's wanting, God's really wanting to bless us with all of the things, or all of our heart's desires. But if we don't trust God that it's real and that we can actually have that foundation, we're going to have that mirror that it's not real, or it's too good to be true, right? So where in your life are you feeling like things are too good to be true? Okay. So yeah, going back to this numbing idea is that a lot of times we ignore our feelings, and then we attract things that hold us back. Like for instance, another example, I was getting I've been applying for rental assistance to help me with my apartment rent, because I have my bills are just ridiculous because I have a brick and mortar space. And anyway, so I was getting rental assistance, and for some reason my documents didn't go all the way through to the organization I was applying for. Some of them went through, but not all of them. And so it like missed my call. I missed my call. I had an appointment at 11 today, and they didn't call me. And I was like, something's off. I'm like, well, does that mean they can't help me? Does that mean that I'm out of the, potentially getting this money? Should I end up applying somewhere else, right? And so, but what happened is my documents didn't get to her. I sent them to her, but they didn't all get, like all the information didn't get to her. And so I had an upset coming up this afternoon as I was making lunch about it. And I was like, I was getting this feeling, and I was like, okay, this is great. I was like, initially I was like, oh man, I'm so sad that I have to, I'm upset that I have an upset, right? And then I was like, no, that's okay. That's good. This is coming up for me to heal. So this is really good. And then like another, 20 minutes passes, and the lady who had the appointment called and she said, oh, so I got these from you, but I didn't get this. And then I got your email about, should I apply for other places? And so anyway, she just needed me to send the documents over to her, and she was just so busy today that she just didn't, she couldn't get to me. So anyway, long story short, once I even just acknowledged that I had something to heal and work through, which was the same upset as yesterday, it was the same one. And notice, like, as we're healing things, they'll come in layers, right? So for instance, like, I've been healing this upset about just this around men and around like how I'm treated by men. And so initially, right, when I was really starting to heal about my respect and how I should be treated, initially, like, I noticed, when I was out in public, like, it was a very clear difference when I really started to heal some of this, because I would have, gentlemen opening doors for me, and, just really seeing the good side. That, like, there's a lot of really great men out there, right? But you're only going to see that if you start to really heal on an internal level, because so within what you believe on the inside will show up on your outside, because it's the same, the spiritual truth that so within, so without. You can't manifest anything on the outside that you haven't fully healed on the inside. And so, but then, I can't remember, it was a couple weeks ago. Oh, this was back in April. So I borrowed money from my brother, and, I guess he needed it back initially. He's not kind of broke or anything, but, like, I guess he really needed that money back. And so I delayed a couple of weeks from what we agreed upon. And my brother, like, lashed out at me like you wouldn't believe. And I was like, and I told him at the time, I was like, you really, you pretty much gave me what you would have given, like, everybody else who owed you money. He wouldn't hear it. He absolutely wouldn't hear it. But I literally, I set a boundary, and I was like, anyway, I set a boundary, and it's all here. But that was a layer that wasn't healed. There was still something in me that believed that someone could threaten me and could be disrespectful to me. And so I was upset that it came up, and I was literally willing to, let go of my brother. And I let him know that in very, very clear terms, that he was not to talk to me that way ever again, or I would be moving on. However, this is about setting those boundaries and then going inside and say, okay, where am I being harsh with myself? Where am I being judgmental with myself? Where am I being disrespectful to myself? And it was a worthiness block too, because, if we don't believe that we're worthy, God says that we're worthy. So you just simply make a choice to accept, okay, I'm worthy, right? And you just keep making that choice, right? Until your external world is what you want, right? And you just keep healing these things. So yeah, anyway, going back to this thing with the thing, just acknowledging that I had an upset, and then I was like, okay, this is good that it's coming up, and I'm going to do some inner work around that, was enough for the lady to actually come around. Like, my appointment was like at 11. She didn't get back to me until like 1:20, 1:30, and I was like, do I need to look elsewhere for this assistance? That's certainly okay. I know God will support me, because ultimately, this lady isn't my support. My families and students at my ballet school are not my support. Really the divine is my support, right? So I can find those resources elsewhere, but I just need to know kind of where I'm at. And so really just grounding into that, knowing that the divine was my support, and I just let go. I just kept letting go, right, of the outcome of this. Then she eventually got around to me and say, hey, I don't have your documents. And then I just got the call about 30 minutes ago that she had talked to my landlord, the leasing agents or whatever, and they're going to be able to, pay that portion of my lease, which is huge right now, right? Because the divine is my support, right? Not this particular agency or my school or anybody else, right? So anyway, I just wanted to share that, because a lot of times I feel like, we brush away and push past. And, if I weren't this far along in my journey, I probably would have, just brushed that feeling, underneath, or I might have continued to get upset, but I would have I don't know, maybe I would have done something to help me feel better. But it wouldn't be something that would completely support me, if that makes sense, because I just brushed something underneath the rug. And what happens when we brush something underneath the rug? It comes up in our reality somewhere else so that it can be healed, right? It's that idea that everything happens for us and not to us, right? Everything happens for us to recognize where it is that we're out of alignment with trusting the divine. That's what it's all about, is learning to trust that your source, your safety, your abundance, your love, your wealth, and every avenue and area of your life is given to you by the divine. So anyway, guys, if you want to continue this conversation, subscribe, hit the bell notification so you get that. You can also check me out over at Unite with the Divine on Facebook if you'd like to see me on there. I just want to share, the biggest changes in my business, in my love with myself, and really ability to manifest has happened through coaching and through getting help. Because not only will coaches help you see where you don't, what do you call it? Like the rear view mirror effect, right? Or the blind spots. There we go. Coaches will help you find your blind spots. They also, because you're having more intention, okay, to get things figured out, you'll actually have, it's like you're open to new ideas and open to receiving the ideas to heal and fix it. Like I remember getting a financial coach for the first time, and it was just a free coach through the community. And, all she did was go through my budget which is kind of ridiculous because like I always, at the time especially, I always had more month than I had money. So like putting a budget together was just like, you know, it was almost frustrating in itself because I still didn't have the money I needed. But what it did do is it gave me clarity on how to set up several different accounts so that I could have like maybe a spending account so that I could always have, you know, like 20, 30, 50 bucks in there. So in case my account got overdrawn, I wasn't like stuck with nothing, right? Because that happens sometimes, right? Where you just, you know, the automatic withdrawals go through and you're like, look at the time. And I gotta eat. I need gas. I need, you know, these different things. So anyway, having a coach really helps you to open up to possibility. And this is what I'll leave you with is like, where in your life are you giving love to possibility? And where in your life are you giving love to fear? Yeah, because if you love the fear, right, that's what's going to stay in your life. But if you are, you know, but again, that's something that I'm working through healing, and you can as well. So feel free to reach out to me. I have introductory sessions for $30 on my website. It'll be linked below, so you can sign up for that. I'm also having some specials for coaching throughout just the next couple of weeks. So check those specials out. The code for that is Live Love, capital L, L-I-V-E, L-O-V-E. So if you'd like to set yourself up with some coaching, feel free to do that. I have a really great discount for you there. And I guess that's it, guys. I just wish you all the best. I wish you well. I wish you love, abundance, prosperity, and just know that anything that you can dream, you absolutely can create. All right, I'd love to help you do that, and hopefully even this video sends you on your way and helps you live a better, stronger, more full life. All right, guys, be well, live well, love well, and take care.